All right, now joining us in studio, we have Honorable Binwell Mpundu, who is Nkana constituency member of parliament. He's going to give us some more insights now that this bill has passed by an overwhelming vote of 135 members of parliament in agreement with the passing of Bill 7. Honorable Saitat, it's amazing to have you here. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I don't know if I should say I'm okay, but you know, it's a common response. I'm all right, but all things said, it's not a good day. It's not a good day. But anyway, not all days are Sundays.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, why? Sorry. Why do you think that is not a good day? I see. We were just watching you debating in Parliament yesterday. There was jubilation after what happened in Parliament. Why do you feel? And you wrote on your Facebook page that you felt betrayed by the people that you eat with, the people that you stay with. Why do you feel this way?
Let me state, first of all, that we as a country have crossed a line that would never go back to. What happened yesterday has completely altered our democratic, our democracy. Now, yes, people celebrated, unfortunately celebrated an illegality. Look, our work as members of parliament is enacting laws, and we've done so for the last 4 years without so much hullabaloos. I think the last time we had this problem was when, the cyber laws were being enacted. For the Constitution, the rules are completely different. This is a people's document. To open up the Constitution, you need express permission from the people. All right? So there are two sides of this conversation. Okay? It is about what process was followed in amending the Constitution, and the second conversation is around the clauses that are contained therein in those proposed or the amendments that were passed yesterday. We have to start with the process, because I can tell you the two fundamental issues in a constitution amendment process is agreeing on the process. There's a requirement for consensus. Now, the Constitution is a law of the land. Whether those moving the amendments are in majority is not the issue. The issue is about even those in minority agreeing. Okay? Because we don't make the law to fix people. We make the law that makes every one of us comfortable. Okay? So the paramount issue with making the law or amending the Constitution is consensus. And consensus is built when you all agree on a process, number one. Then you then agree on the contents. They actually say the process protects the contents. I can refer to what happened the last time we attempted to amend the Constitution. The political parties first started by agreeing during the meeting that was held in Siavonga, agreeing on the process. That process was coined up in a law which was called the National Dialogue Forum. So there was an act of parliament called the National Dialogue Forum, in which law the process of amending the Constitution was agreed by all parties. Then the second issue that came was the contents. What shall we put in the law? What shall we remove in our Constitution? It was around the content that we could not build consensus on an agreement. That is how Bill 7, or rather Bill 10, failed. In the case of Bill 7, right from the initiation, the process that was followed was illegal, was something that has never been done done before. By UPND just sat, I don't know whether it's Community House or where, the party secretariat, and agreed on the clauses. They called them non-contentious. Who tells you that these are non-contentious? Non-contentious should come from the people. They agreed and did a draft they called Bill 7. Now remember, that is where the trouble started, and people started voicing out saying, you cannot do this because you have not consulted us. The spirit of amending the constitution dictates that you must go to the people. We must originate what must be contained in the amendment. And that is why when this matter was taken to the courts of laws, Munia, Zulu and Celestine, the court ruled, okay? The court gave a position that for as long as you did not go to the people, this stands more like an illegality. So the court ruled that you need to go back to the people, constitute a team that will go and collect submissions of the people. I think that is how you saw this bill be deferred. And that is why we argued from the initial. You can't defer this bill. You must withdraw. Okay? Because when you defer, we know you can bring it back, and the same way they did.
Right.
So we had wanted that after the Constitutional Court ruled, and seemingly the UPND looked like they had listened, they must have withdrawn that bill so that we now go back to the people after the constitution of the technical team. It should interest you, when the technical team was constituted, it was to do what? I thought that that should have been the originating or the origin of what we're doing today. Go to the people, get submissions, put those submissions together in a draft and a report to the president. I think that is what the technical committee did. Interestingly, the work of the technical committee, where does it end? Into just a mere submission. It is illegal. I know that Neri Muti wanted to scold at me saying I'm not a lawyer. We all don't have to be lawyers to be members of parliament. We all don't have to be lawyers to be able to state what the law says. Everything, in fact, I can tell the listening public, 99% of things we know, we did not go to school for them. You are aware of that? 99 things that we know, whether it's in biology or rather whether it's about the law, it's about medicine, it's about cooking. We did not go to school for that. We have picked those lessons along the journey of life.
Right.
So when we comment on the law, it should not be because we are lawyers. It's because we have been informed through reading. Okay? We have been informed by the rulings of the court. We have been informed by writers, by scholars who have intimated that the work of the technical committee involves, number one, going to get submissions, putting those submissions together in form of a report, which report must be presented to the president. The president then must table that report in cabinet. And then cabinet tasks the Ministry of Justice to come up with a draft bill. When the technical committee submits a report to the president, they become in law what they call a functus official. They are no longer needed, maybe save for consultation or otherwise, but they don't hold authority to hold office. It therefore is procedurally and constitutionally wrong to subject the technical committee to be a mere participant in the process, to go and submit to a select committee at parliament. This, I stand to challenge any lawyer worth his salt. This is what the law holds. What happened in this process where you ignore the work of the technical committee, who are the originators? You rely on a bill that was labeled unfounded, ungrounded on the law, is illegal, it's procedurally improper. Whatever happened yesterday is an illegality. What we were being called to do at Parliament yesterday is to legitimize illegalities. Now I can say this, colleagues. When you hold power, you may think you are almighty. We've seen this before. The PF, I belonged to the PF at some point. The PF enacted a law, or rather defied legal advice, allowed ministers to stay in office after the dissolution of parliament. They were wielding power then. But when later on the court ruled, what happened? They all paid. And that is the advice we're giving to the UPND today. You may look like you are almighty, even, setting aside the ruling of the Constitutional Court. By the way, Article 1 and Article 128 of the Constitution dictates that the rulings of the Constitutional Court binds every office, including Parliament. So we were bound as Parliament to stop the illegalities. Bill 7 was an illegality. Had they brought the report of the technical committee, this would have been completely a different scenario. So let's agree, colleagues, that what we did yesterday was simply to legitimize an illegality. We raped the Constitution yesterday.
Right. Now, keeping that in mind, you may come forward and contest the process. You have highlighted that you feel yesterday was an illegality. But regardless of what you have to say, Honorable Sir, we did get a result.
Yes.
There was an overwhelming response by other members of Parliament. Yes. Okay? And the bill has been passed and voted for to pass. What do you have to say after that?
Well, unfortunately, sometimes when you stand on the law, on the right side of things, you may stand alone. People have always remarked that the majority do not always mean they are right. I know there was celebration. Interestingly, I saw the speaker dancing. When I was walking in, I heard a comment where somebody was remarking that there's nothing wrong in the speaker dancing.
Right.
You cannot. This country cannot sink to that level. The speaker is a referee. We know she comes from the UPND, but she cannot dance. She cannot celebrate in that manner. Okay, this is sinking the country to the lowest end. You cannot. The moment you begin to entertain that, muleo na ule chalo. You saw what was happening yesterday. Speaker literally schooling us. That is not the job of the speaker. Okay, you don't have to be all lawyers. You don't have to, say what she wants to hear. Okay, the role of the presiding officer is to allow people to express themselves, and then at the end of the day, make a ruling according to, like you say, the people who sat in that house. But I'll say this: yes, Bill 7 has passed. Yes, we are going to have a new constitution. I stand here. I hope one day I don't come back to sit here and tell you, I warned you, I told you. What we did yesterday will haunt us many years to come back. Because I'll tell you this. Democracy entails that power belongs to the people. All right? You cannot shift that power to institutions or to one organ or to individuals. You must allow people to exercise their power in appointing people, in dictating what must happen. Some of the provisions in this bill are inimical to our democratic standing. You are shifting powers from the courts to the ECZ. What will happen in 2026, God forbid, will be a situation where you file in your nomination, having qualified at all levels, with all the dictates, and then ECZ simply say, you are not qualified according to the Constitution, and you cannot go anywhere. The process continues. This, you remember me one day, is what is going to happen next year in 2026. Colleagues, this country is in distress economically. Every little resource today must be harnessed to the to the good of our people. Are you telling me today is when you should increase Parliament by, how many have we increased? So we're talking about 70 new seats. You must take a moment, because you guys are in the media, you do investigations. Take a moment to do numbers. What it means to create 70 new constituencies. You are creating 70 new cost centers, MPs. Do you know the cost of an MP? You are creating 70 establishment in terms of constitutional offices, buildings, officers that are going to sit in there, and all these associated costs. How many others are we getting? 20 women, 15 youth, 5 disabled, 40, yeah? So 70 plus 40, 110, plus 2 more, is it 3 more nominated? Colleagues, that's a huge number. That's a huge number by all standards, considering what we're going through. By the way, people have argued, and argued erroneously so, that development can only go to constituencies when there's delimitation.
Maybe before we come to a delimitation, do you, however, feel that we need to increase women representation in Parliament?
Yes, we do.
Also youths and people living with disabilities.
Absolutely.
So you are not against this idea?
No. I am not against this idea. But I'll tell you this. Even as things stand today, let's ask each other, why have we not taken women to Parliament? Why have we not taken the youth to Parliament? Why have we not taken the disabled to Parliament? Because the law as it stands today does not stop women, youth and the disabled to go to Parliament. Those who are, posturing themselves to be, agents of that desire, where have they been? Where was the UPND when they were nominating, rather adopting people? Why didn't they adopt women? Enough women. Why didn't they adopt, youth? Because I can tell you, yes, elections are a competition. But there are certain places like the Southern Province where UPND is very strong, the Northwestern where they're strong, the Western where they're strong, where they could have fielded young people, where they could have fielded women, and those women could have gone through. Why didn't they field young youth or women and the disabled? And this even by PF fielded one disabled in Chasef, even though he lost. So you see, where I come from, they say, meaning that for you to say, you go to a woman if you're a man, you say, I will take care of you. You must be able to demonstrate, I am mukashana na ka basket, tuma flowers, no tuma fruits. Hala muna tukunga bangu paba, kukaba bwino. We must never live in deception.
But that is what you're saying now is leaving it at the party's discretion.
Yes. Right.
But we are putting it into law now.
Listen, there is a law here. The law does not stop women. The law does not stop the youth.
That's right.
Even when you are putting it to a law, what is the guarantee that, sir, it is that young woman who is going to be taken to Parliament?
But now
well, at least there will be a young woman.
The opportunity is being made very crystal clear.
There is a seat for that particular young woman.
Bakalamba, a seat for a young woman, a seat for a youth does not guarantee the ordinary, Zambians to be there. History will tell you, if today you interrogate the people who have been appointed, I have traveled as a member of Parliament to certain countries, and I find relatives of the politicians sitting in the embassies. Well, I can mention 1, 2, 3. I just don't want to be dragged, but I know, and you are also aware, that there are a lot of relatives of the politicians in the UPND who are in those embassies. So what is the guarantee for a young person, for a woman, that when the law is, crafted, they are the ones who are going to be, sent to Parliament? But the current law would actually stop, because when you are adopting, people will laugh at you to adopt mwana wenu. You understand? So the current setups does not stop women, does not stop youth, does not stop the disabled from going to Parliament. It is the political will. And if a leader does not demonstrate that desire now, what is the guarantee, or why would you be excited that it means well for you, if not them using that as a carrot, dangling it in your face so that you are excited? You are excited for what? You will never have that chance to go to Parliament as an ordinary person, save for if you are related or you are acquaintances to these people.
Is that what Ichawaiche would do?
Ichawaiche is demonstrating today. We are going to by-election. Our young person, age 33, is actually fighting in nomination. That is what we stand for. If you look at the composition of Ichawaiche, it's completely young people. Because we believe that young people have been marginalized.
No.
And all they've
my
needed.
question is, you seem to be expressing fear that they will be appointing their relatives. Is that what Ichawaiche would do?
No, why would
but
we
this
do
is
that?
not a UPND law. This is
a law for everyone. And you should actually be in alignment with this, because as somebody who stands by each other. You are an advocate for the youth. Now there's a law supporting and creating room to make sure that youths are included and are a part of it. Because what you're stating here, sir, is you have no problem with the contents of this bill.
No. Did I say that?
Let's make it clear.
No.
Let's make it clear.
I have a problem, number one, with the process. That's the
Right.
biggest issue. And then I have a problem with the contents.
Okay.
Save for a few changes they made yesterday, some of the proposals they were making were extremely outrageous. For instance, they were trying to suggest that they stop people from going to stand as independents. Yes, they've changed that position. But you can imagine before yesterday, we were being told, Ngabakushaba political party were not adopted, you will not stand as an independent. Why were they trying to do that? It's because they knew a lot of their members were going to go independent. And they wanted to create a law to target those individuals. You don't create a law targeting those individuals. That's why we fell apart, because of the outrageous proposition they were making. Now, I'm saying this, my dear sister. I am not a guy who is easily moved by what glitters. Because I believe what glitters is not God. I am not a guy that falls for deception. What the UPND have simply done in those amendments is deception. To dangle a carrot to the young people so that in excitement the young people will say, a chance has now been created for us to go to parliament. And I'm here telling the young people of Zambia, it is not you. It is their relatives. I'm telling the women, it is not you, it is their relatives.
Now, that is where I'm asking you. What if the UPND is voted out and Itabaite comes in? What do you have to say
We are
about
going
this
to,
now?
you see, for us, let me say this very clearly, colleagues. It's not like we've never needed amendments. We have always needed to amend the law. There are quite a number of issues within the law that, within our constitution, that needs to be adjusted. I have a number of issues which I would have loved to be part of what we were doing. Yes, that is why. If you listen as an example from the Oasis Forum,
Yes, sir.
when they made a presentation to the president, they said, Mr. President, for us we desire that we have a complete overhaul of the constitution. Because even part 3, which is the Bill of Rights, needs to be amended so that we include some other rights that people are not enjoying. What we should have done yesterday was to have a complete overhaul of the law. And that should have started from the people. Okay? There are a number of clauses that we should have that should have been part of that, and some that should have not been part of it. That is why we are saying it is important always that you build consensus. You agree, colleagues, this is needed, this is not needed. I am saying this to you. We should not fall for deception.
You touched on this slightly. You touched on delimitation. All right? You got into it. What would happen if, because we know for sure, we have not been told what constituencies will be delimited.
There you go.
If Nkana constituency is delimited, where will you stand? And what do you have to say on it?
Oh, by the way, I'm not going back to parliament.
Okay.
I'm vying for the top position.
All right.
You must make it clear.
Under Ichabaiche?
Yes. Now, the delimitation report of 2019, the exercise that was conducted, I was district commissioner then. Okay? Kitwe had proposed new constituencies, I think about 2, all right, and many other places. Now, that is why when you are enacting a law, the number one issue is transparency and consensus. Does it really augur well with you, colleagues, that today we have even passed that same amendment, you still don't know which constituents are going to be delimited? There's a report. That report was produced in 2019. Handed over to the executive. The executive should have made, if they were really transparent and they mean well to the people of Zambia, should have put out this, because there were 90 proposed new constituencies in the 2019, delimitation report. They have decided, first they decided they will create 55. They should have stated to the country, out of the 90, which 55 they were proposing to delimitate. They've now gone back to 70 new constituencies out of 90. Why shouldn't it be? Why should we not demand that first they show us which constituencies are supposed to be delimited? Do you know what they have been doing? They've been going to some MPs, naive MPs, dangle that carrot, boy, iwe, tukabika ku constituency, so you must support. That is why you saw that jubilation. That is why you saw all those numbers. 3/4 of those that voted from the opposition, bali ba dango kariya ka carrot, ka delimitation iwe boy, kutukaputulako.
But if you have such knowledge that bali bashita dango, ama carrots, bali bashita convince, ukutira tibara shita delimitate constituency yabo. If that was the case, then why were you shocked by their response and agreement with that?
Look,
if you can confirm
I am
that.
not shocked that members of parliament, some from the opposition, voted like that. I think if you've listened to me, I have been intimating to a lot of people that we actually are going to lose at the vote. I just never thought we would get those numbers. I just never thought people would fall that easily. By the way, whatever abantu kubacha drop muri bus, baba drop amailo muri bus kachoko baba fumishi. It's suspected people were quarantined somewhere there, somewhere. People, adults like ourselves, must have independent minds. If I'm going to support a bill like that, I must do it with conviction that it means well to colleagues. At this stage, you can't create over 100 seats in parliament. Fiscally, it's not tenable. This country is in ICU economically. We are failing to meet basic needs of our people. We should have been attending to these needs of our people. Look at the load shedding. Abantu na abachula kumalaiti mwe bantu. We should have invested in power generation. Imagine a country where the Minister of Finance is boasting not quarter 5 billion in reserves. But abantu walala mumfivi. The other day I posted when there was a blackout countrywide. The mines, you know, I am from a mining community. People were trapped from 03, Aingiro Muntu, 03 Papamgod, only to come out at 23 hours because Ifikwepe, that removes miners from underground, were stuck. There was no power. This is the situation we are in. So every resource we have now must be harnessed to the common good of our people. I will tell you, it is not true. And I stand to challenge anyone. It is not true to suggest that constitution yalan that every after 10 days you must, or 10 years you must create new constituencies. That is not what the law says. At least I did a diploma in law. I can tell you that the law does not say every after 10 years you must create new constituencies. The law says every after 10 years you must revisit, rename if you want to rename, or adjust boundaries. It does not say create new constituencies. Delimitation does not mean necessarily that you create new constituencies. Delimitation simply means you realign the constituencies either by name or by boundaries. If you find that Nkana is too small, Kwacha is too big, you realign the boundaries. Mwasuna kokuli Kwacha, Mwabika kokuli Nkana. That is what delimitation means. You don't necessarily need to create new MPs or new constituencies. Those guys you've sent to parliament there, 3/4 of them are there are some characters who have gone to parliament who have never said a word since they went there. No, you will never nobody know you are shishito wa kuchipato you kuli rumezu. Elwa Pere made them speech the other day. Imagine he has been in parliament for over 6 months. But Elwa Pere made them speech. Okay, we have a lot of characters today. Mwabo mfuapo no kubo mfuapo. You constituency kuisa mwaba. MP mwalimu mfuapo wen. Tabalanda. But you want to now increase that house. And then you increase that house. Meanwhile, the current setup is that we cannot ninkoko. It's a small space. We literally sit like chicken. Ero nomba mubike po over 100. Tukekana kuisa mwebana bakwales. Our friends in Tanzania, when they decided to increase the numbers, they started by first of all remodeling the house. That's when they did what we've done today. So these things we are supporting, let us not support blindly. Let us not easily be fooled by these deceptive moves. You know, I know by UPND babufi, but ubufi bumo chimone sambi. In fact, anyway. You cannot be doing what UPND is doing.
You talk delimitation and you talk also about proportional representation. You, however, okay, what else do you? Which other clauses do you feel are bad.
I'll tell you, one of the worst clauses in that is where power is shifting. I need to be I need to pinpoint the exact provision that dictates at nomination the powers will be entirely up to the ECZ to actually decide whether you qualify or not. Remember, the qualification of a member of parliament to stand or an individual to stand should be expressly enshrined in the law. The law currently expressly, states your qualification. You must possess a grade 12, you must be of sound mind, you must what, and what. If you leave it to an organ like the ECZ to decide to qualify or disqualify you, you are creating a monster and the posterity is going to judge you. Okay? I need to have a list of all the clauses so that I can pin down. I have done a very good, analysis of all the clauses, save for some have actually been changed by yesterday. Remember when we were discussing this, yesterday is when we saw a few changes. But overall, we have done a disservice to ourselves. Because whether the clauses are okay, as you are suggesting, the limitation is okay, inclusion of women and youth is okay.
But you confirmed that the inclusion of women and youth is okay as well.
It is okay. If we had the political will, we could have actually included them even now.
I think
Okay. Now the other issue is you need to know also the dangers of a proportional representation. Proportional representation gives unfettered powers to one individual to be able to wield power in appointing and otherwise. Remember, when everything else is said, this is what delimitation, proportional representation means. When the votes are counted, the women who go to parliament will be allocated, the number of women will be allocated to a political party based on the percentage of votes that a political party would have gotten in that election. So if political A gets 90% or 99%, it means that all the 20 women will come from one political party. All right? And all the youth will come from that political party. Do you know what that means? You would have given unfettered power to one individual, the president of that political party, to be able to send people to that parliament. Who is he going to send to parliament? Is it you people, or he could actually end up... Because you see, when we look at this, we must even look at the worst case scenario. You are going to have a fool in that office who may actually decide, I am going to only send to parliament people who are going to be clapping for me, or people who are loyal to me. He may pick relatives, and you'll have 20, 15, 5, 40 people picked from his household. Those are the dangers of creating a law without looking at what are the implications. So proportionate representation sounds very good, because for you, you are looking at the semantics of inclusions. But you must look at the dangers of giving unfettered power to one individual to be able to decide who goes into parliament. I think that we must always insist that the power to send representative or to elect representative must always be vested in the people. You must always be deciding, which is why we were so objecting the issue of removing by-elections. I'm glad that they removed the by-election, because it was completely absurd to suggest that a political party must replace the people in sending somebody to parliament or to represent people. So I think that overall, these are the concerns. Above all these concerns is what we've just done: entertained or legitimized and regard it.
Let us hear what our callers have to say this morning. The number is 0979958392. You can be a part of the conversations that we're having this morning. We have Honorable Binwell Mpundu, who is in studio with us, and he's given us some insights in regards to the bill that was passed yesterday with an overwhelming vote of 135 members of parliament. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Musa muli bwanji?
Bwino muli bwanji?
Crown TV uko?
Ni ku Crown TV ndi mwa ndani? Mutiuza kwa zina yanu na kwa mtumira. Hello?
It's gone.
All right, we've lost that caller. We can pick another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Please turn off your TV
Yes, good
set.
morning. Good morning. How are you?
Please turn off your TV set.
Yes, this
Okay.
is Mr. Kapesa.
Okay, Mr. Kapesa, go ahead with your contribution.
What I'm just trying to say, I'm just trying to ask the honorable here. What is wrong if you want to Wabata parliament? And what is wrong if those people, when you are parliament, they are going to help other people in those new constituencies? What is wrong with that? Is it a problem to see someone and because those new constituencies, they are going to create even meaning we are going to have at least a development those areas. But what is wrong just to see someone and what is wrong with that?
Thank you very much. Appreciate your contribution.
All right, before you come in, let's take some other callers. Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
Your name and where you're calling us from, sir?
I'm Joseph from Northern.
Okay, go ahead, Joseph.
I've never agreed with the big man here, Mr. Mpundu. Mainly on what he says politically, I don't. But on this one, I think he's being honest to all of us. What he's saying regarding the action of the speaker, for example, one wonders, is she a referee or she sided? The other thing is the way he has explained the clauses that he agrees with and that he does not agree with. I think it makes sense to me as a person who's following this program. And I feel as patriotic Zambians, we should avoid aligning ourselves to political blindness, instead focus objectively on things that will benefit all of us as Zambians. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for coming through. 0979-958392. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning, my sister.
Good morning. Go ahead with your contribution.
Bwanji ne banda ine Mpundu bwanji.
Bwino bwanji.
Maola kuti vintu vinakukangani bado zengere soka mpaka. Va biuteni ja va UPND vanachoka ose vaso inakanga kupita. Kwamba ime ma MPs va PF ine. So kona mene munaimira ma independent. Simutandiza Zambia. In fact Mpundu kufutika nokamba hapa. Ngozi vinakukangani vintu ja biu inapasa. Maya mzatuza chani. Yamana zatuza chani. Ipo malala ndapo niishi. Habari hapa. Pamona. Wa UPND vanakuchalengani biuteni ja. Siwana kwere parliament. But ima munaenda wose kucha. Unaenda chitawa chani. Vaja wadani kireha. Simu imirama Zambia nini. Ima wose ma MP munachilaza merezi. I think it's in the vote. I'm telling you. What do you want to do ground? But I what are you doing with the parliament? Very much. You want to propose it, you say, right in your foot. You mind to any relevant? No, I said no. I cannot no, I think you're going to be a policy in your own support. You are one of money. Ozi iwe tali mupera imalemba nakuzani chitani so unamona pali muntu ile sinizi wa parliament ukapita kuchitako chani kaya bill 7 nakukangani mpaka ya pasa naje mtu uza chani hapa kama mtu uza chani mudandaula chani kama mudandaula pali pevene mukamba hapa ozi virakangi wa kudala wazani wanaikwanisa bill 10 wanaikwanisa bill kwilo inakanga kuti ipite but wanaikwanisa kupita tikambaka chani simu imirira abantu wasokota vanamiza vanhu pakonstituency kwani. Mama MPs wose Afrika mupumule mutuone chilala. Atiki muvera kochabe kuzachimvera chirana muntu ukazoka pampando wa mdala umalira loko ndi officer in charge ukafika officer in charge uchiritaya umavera topic yoboka so sindi vantu vemirira vantu ayo ma MPs imwe very disappointed why isani Mpundu kwari nditemwa sana mulera ndawino sana mu parliament but nishi achitikire mairo okay.
Yeah, 0979-958392. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, alright. Good morning, madam.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
You are speaking to 90% the people of Ruapula spokesperson Kapambwe. I am calling from here in Nigeria.
All right. Go ahead with your contribution.
Thank you. Mpundu.
Mukwai.
Mwabuka bigwino.
Atubuka bakalamba.
Wabuka. Yes, you are a man. I think umuntu ali ngokwinina neko afuma. Even the people of Ruapula, seeds of the people of Ruapula. Ngabamye batilandire ni chalo, muli baume mulalandire chalo. Lweti achitika, muli generation mwapanga ala mupamba. Mupamba kozi mwashitarau. Ilipo constitution mu country, pamulandu w'abantu bamukubumfye imfumu shabo. Mwalaba masambiyani. Ichichachitika chibi kozi kuti mwamuna fena kumona ati constitution tetive ya chalo epo muntu nokulira leliro kupapata okuta mpaka ipiti timwaishiva ngafu ichalo ni poison kuchalo eba ba UPND mumebe kutira eri powers bapera ba president ya kuspekpeo muntu mubate yabwera kuli SG na president na yakaba mulandu wako bati president ukala choosing peno mbewa overepo na SG baumwana tuita tule mukwaya bamuspekpeo so angu bachitire bilia na bakalira kozi nga mwati mwonenge fe muliranda ni benefit chama member of parliament bara member of parliament kulia ba takwa ishona mini ya bachita kusumina kuche bachita ma jokes tapa poneti amano ebichi ma constituency ngabale twani nchitababulire ama constituency ndira mababika so that ishafula cause ni ine kote pini ya ile moneka mu country kuti ya kuisa ibomba kwi and then bale vikira ma problem kuma Zambia and through taxpayers money iwe kweba pina which means poverty plus poverty mu country. Are you sure muntu wakwata wisdom walikwata mano chiwa ya sign biwi chintu kuli ne pintu kimobizishirwa ukwabulo kushowinga tishowinye ama constituency mwa bano kusedlimited mwaka no kumona then bali ama member of parliament baya asumina ichile support okuta nombe chichawo chambo control baka in the through dictatorship but mulemu na mwafiro okuchingirira amazambiani pamulandu abantu bamutu wadishi bemfumo shabo but even nokumonekera nga ngimpyesho balya pamulandu wapyo bachita titi puli kaba palibere nefika monekera tikeshibikwa nga chakwe bati muleti baleti tikwa mazambiani patintu bimo ikyo bena muleta benefit nesa takapale ichume cha abantu abengapuka mukutushe niyo ya abantu because taxpayers money mbokutubaba ile parliament yako ata abantu 120 no mbamuye bichi ikira kwa abantu nabambi abanshi
as you conclude sir
mukupwirikisha beze mukushita praise baka inde ikire beto bashite province no beto bashitane chalo to no mbamwatubika mugwapya kabiri yicha wamafye ngani abapye no sekwa no kulaba monanga nya abantu bambi abapye at least to kwenda walelanda. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, maybe Honorable, you can respond to some of these callers. Two of them very, very disappointed with members of parliament.
Yeah. So the gentleman who called first says, why don't you want others to also get a job of being an MP? Why don't you want certain places to have some development? It is a complete flawed thinking. That places will only get development when you have an MP. MP is not the one who brings development. This conversation, and I'm praying we can have organizations that can start having or going around the country educating people as to the roles of an MP. The primary roles of an MP is to go to parliament to legislate. The other added, responsibility of development, we are merely mouthpiece who should go to central government to lobby for development. We don't even need to go lobbying for development from central government if the system is normal. If the country is functional, it's not a MP to go to the Minister of Local Government to go and plead for roads. That is why the Ministry of Local Government has got functions at the lowest level, the council. They must attend to roads. The council must attend to garbage. The ministries must do their responsibility. They must build infrastructure. They must do everything that is needed by the people in the communities. It is not the duty of a member of parliament to aipelafe as an added responsibility because of the pressure in the communities. Okay, to suggest that development will only come when you have a member of parliament is wrong. To suggest that you can only have more money in the constituencies if they cut the constituents into is also very wrong. I'll ask you this. CDF was at 1.6 under PF. Today we are sitting at 40 million. Did the 40 million come because we delimitated? Allocating more money to community cannot only be done when there is delimitation. It is just a political will. If the UPND wanted to take 80 million to constituencies, they can do it even now. Besides, today, CDF only accounts for 2% of the national budget. But today, CDF literally handles everything. If the UPND wanted, they can increase it to 10% of the national budget, so that constituencies that were receiving 80 million can receive 200 million. So it is not by creating new constituencies that more money or development can go into the communities. It is simply political will. You cannot today be saying, let's create nabanzanu bankareko na position yabu MP. You cannot create a law or you cannot amend the constitution so that you can create jobs for MPs or for politicians. You must be amending the constitution so that you can create more jobs for the citizens of this country. So that thinking is very wrong. You should be saying, let's amend the law so that we, the citizens, can have more jobs, not that politicians can have more jobs. Because what we've done, if you interrogate all the clauses, they are simply speaking to the interest and the desires of the politicians, not the interest of the common people of Zambia. No, you are just creating opportunities for more politicians and not for citizens. The next person says, the actions of the speaker, where he says he actually disagrees with me on many things, but today he has agreed with me because, to start with, how does a referee, imagine the referee supports Arsenal, and Arsenal is playing with Manchester United, and then Arsenal scores, the referee starts celebrating. That is what the speaker did yesterday completely shows how biased she has always been, like we have always intimated. The speaker has shown a lot of biasness. She has never, castigated the ruling party MPs even when they are wrong. She is very quick to send us out even when we just laugh. A member of parliament for Milenge was sent out for simply laughing. But yesterday was a capping. She demonstrated the biasness she has always had. We know she comes from the UPND, but when you wear the robe of the speaker, you cease to be UPND. You must appear to be impartial. Oh.
but maybe let me ask you one thing. What do the standing orders say when the speaker is walking into or out of parliament?
Because some people actually say this could be ceremonial.
No. In fact, this is completely against the decorum of the House. The moving in and out of the speaker into the House is a solemn moment. When the speaker is moving in, you see always, it's a solemn moment. She has to move slowly, majestically, and we all have to be quiet. Every time you say any palatable there, they can actually send you out when she's moving out. The same way when she's moving, in and out. To do what she did yesterday is a grave, abrogation of our standing orders. You cannot. That is a solemn moment. You can't go dancing. If it was any other person there doing that, it would have been a problem. We have been reprimanded for, singing in that house. We have been reprimanded for laughing, that you are laughing carelessly. People have been sent out for laughing. To allow the speaker to dance is against the etiquette of the house, is against the decorum. No matter how much you want to justify it, she will go down history as having done the unthinkable in that house.
Are we to expect any form of punishment?
Who can punish the speaker?
So
the speaker is almighty. There's nobody who can punish her. And that is why she gets away with anything. She gets away with abuse. She can abuse you like I was being abused when I was debating. Colleagues, honestly, Mwebena Zambia. When we are debating, we are allowed to express ourselves. And then at the end of the day, if the speaker wishes, can correct you. No, paria, no, paria, no. You cannot have a member of parliament debating every sentence order. You can't. And we are reducing parliament. Unfortunately, for those who are on the side of the UPND, it sounds very nice. But for posterity, we are creating something that has never been, done ever before. So, yes, I agree with my brother. What was speaker yesterday is unthinkable. And I think that when she takes a moment, should be able to think twice about what she did, yesterday. He says we need to stop aligning to political parties blindly. And unfortunately, this has really been the order of the day. Some of the things we are agreeing to, some of the things we are objecting to, some of us who are objecting, are basically based on alignment. Because I'm opposition, I cannot support this even if it's nice. I remember making a proposition to Parliament that we start managing our mineral resources. I categorize them as strategic minerals. They all rejected and called me all manner of names, that I was being primitive, I was taking us back to, 19 whatever. Only the next day to hear that the president has appointed a team to come up with a model on how we can start managing those strategic minerals. Imagine I made a proposition that we create a fume fund. I was scolded at by the UPND. They forgot that when we were enacting the fume policy in Parliament, we actually had a provision that should set up a fume fund. So, true to what my brother has said, we support and object based completely on political alignment, and it's suicide for the country. For once, we must put on lenses, objective lenses that prioritize the interests of the nation, not the interests of the grouping that we subscribe to. The other person, the man from Eastern Province, is very disappointed with us. In fact, he says, MPs back opposition especially, we must actually be retired. He is very right. I actually commend UPND MPs. I think they've demonstrated from the time they were in the opposition to be disciplined and to be loyal. When they killed Bill 10, they demonstrated, unity of purpose. They demonstrated, purpose. If we are opposition, we have shown the worst manner of character. Okay? Because what we supported yesterday, based on stomachs, and based on little carrots that were dangled in our faces, will go down in history. We have written a very unprecedented, historical narrative that will take many years to be forgotten. I think that is very right. He says, instead of focusing what is afflicting the people, we are focusing on Bill, 7. He is very right. Today, instead of us harnessing our resources to pay farmers, FRA has not yet paid farmers. The rains have already set. Farmers are supposed to be planting. They have not been paid. The little resources we want to be giving to politicians by creating more positions for politicians should have been harnessed to create opportunities for more farmers to be on the FISIP program so that we can produce more food.
Right.
Okay? He is very right because, look, we are more interested in creating positions for ourselves instead of worrying about the electricity situation, worrying about the farmers who are not being paid, worrying about the numbers of farmers who are getting the FISIP, support. We should have increased the numbers. The monies that is going to go to MPs, the MPs that have been created, the over 100 MPs that will be created after this process, could have done magic to the issues affecting our people. And so the gentleman from the Eastern Province is very right. But he also must be reminded, the worst culprit in yesterday's episode are members of parliament from Eastern Province. These Easterners, I know Easterners are very down, but what they did yesterday is unthinkable. Remember, those MPs are sponsored by a political party. Which political party took a position? The UPND in opposition took a position on Bill 10. Because if you compare Bill 10 and Bill 7, they are literally almost the same things. But the UPND took a position and the MPs obliged. But PF Bena, the party takes a position if you are vote. And especially those MPs from the Eastern Province. So the Easterners, you must be reminded, you must be told, we are extremely disappointed with your children. They've defied this land. A collective responsibility entails that when you, as an organization, agrees on a position, so be it. That is why the UPND are being praised by the same gentleman. They are being praised because they collectively agreed on a position, even if that position was erroneously so decided. They obliged, because some of the issues that the UPND were objecting in Bill 10, they are the ones that they've passed under Bill 7. But they agreed as an organization. So anyway, we take the beating. We did a disservice to the people, but I stand very proud myself that despite being bullied yesterday, despite being reduced to a non-entity by the speaker, I still stood my ground, and I'm glad I didn't lose my cool. I still represented my people. I spoke my mind. I stayed away from voting, because voting for me, whether I voted yes or not, would have meant me legitimizing that illegality. I want to put it very clear. I did not sit to vote. Those 2 votes you saw yesterday, it was not from me. I even told yesterday the parliament that nganalanda fenendefuma, because for me sitting would have meant legitimizing an illegality. That is why I went out and never voted. When that time comes, when this issue will be challenged, even those who voted against, who have been part of the commission of that illegality, and they can actually pay.
You have kept on talking about carrots that were dangled. Did anybody approach you to dangle these carrots? And if not, why are you sure that there were carrots that were dangled with other members of
look, some of the conversation that goes on in the closed doors, we don't reveal them. Otherwise, we'll be opening ourselves up to challenge, say who brought the carrot, okay? But every process like this, there are carrots that are dangled. Others will call it lobbying.
Right.
Okay, lobbying is a legal term, but it's corruption still. But others would want to mask it and say lobbying. There was lobbying, serious lobbying that was going on, including yesterday when we were sitting. Ministers would come to your desk, lobby. Except some of us, when we make a position, informed by truth, we don't move.
Right. You mentioned earlier, as we are coming to a wrap of our conversation, you mentioned earlier that you're vying for the highest office, for the highest position with Ichaba. What are we to expect? And do you think you've done enough to be able to communicate people being able to vote for you as we're getting to elections 2026?
I think the Zambian people now, if we are not economic with the truth, we all now know, including yourselves guys, we have tried these politicians. Okay, we've tried them. You've rejected some. Those you thought we've never tried them, let's try them. You've tried them. The performance of the current leadership, the UPND, is the worst we have had in history. Now, interestingly, it will come back to the people to make a decision as to what sort of leaders we would want. I believe time has come for us to bring into office people who have, the love of the country. And for me, I have demonstrated over time my love for the people of Zambia, that I'm able to ignore all manner of enticement. I'm able to be ridiculed. I'm able to be persecuted, so that I stand with the people of Zambia. What I believe Zambia needs is a resetting. We've tried the same people at leadership. They've failed us. We've tried so many old folks at leadership. They've all failed us. I think time has come for us to raise new, giants at leadership. And that is why, for me, my message has been, let the young generation arise. Because this is a moment when history must be rewritten. Okay? You cannot be a country that tries the same circle of people over and over again and you're expecting difference. I've always said that insanity, like they remark, is trying the same thing over and over again and you expect different results. If you take stock of the people who are serving you in the highest offices today, they've been at the game since, 1991. Ba Felix, ba Sylvia, ba Ambrose, na ba Shala. Surely they've not demonstrated that they have anything under their sleeve to make Zambia better. If anything, Zambia keeps on going worse. This is the first time in history that we are having these unprecedented levels of load shedding at the hands of the people that had promised heaven on earth when they were campaigning. So for me, my message to the people of Zambia is that a time has come for us to, I think, realign, raise a new crop of leaders. And I am one of those people, I think, for me, who comes to the table with experience. Having been in politics for 19 years, having served in public service, having served, under the wing of the legislature, I think I possess, requisite experience and qualification for me to be able to provide the leadership for this country. But I'm not in the business of forcing. For me, what I believe I must do is simply to present myself and what I hold for the people of Zambia. The rest is up to the Zambian people, to make a decision. For me, what I think we should never do is to continue entertaining actors who have failed to perform on the stage. They say a good actor leaves the stage while his people are clapping. The sad part with politicians is that they will never leave the stage. You need to pull them off the stage. I think time has come for us to pull some of these political players off the stage. Only then, I believe firmly that this country would align, because we have derailed. I am encouraging young people like yourselves. This is your moment to redefine history. The systems have crumbled in this country. That is why now you can barely distinguish between the legislature, executive, and the judiciary. They are almost being controlled by one person. It's dangerous. We need to realign our systems of governance because they've failed us. We need to change the players because these players have outlived their usefulness. Time has come to reset and open up a chapter of new leaders to take this country forward.
All right. Well, there we have it. We are glad that you were part of our conversations this morning. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you so much, guys.
We will keep an eye out.
Thank you.
Unfortunately,